and good day, eh? Welcome to the Super Good Camping Podcast. I'm Pamela.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Tim.
And we're from supergoodcamping.com. We're here because we wanted to inspire other families to enjoy camping adventures such as we have with our kids. Today we wanted to talk about a couple of things. We were going to revisit weight versus need when you're backcountry camping, and also talk a bit about fishing, and if we have time, we'll get into leave no trace. So I'll turn it over to Tim to talk a bit about weight versus need.
All right, I will refer to my notes because that's how I work. I'm all about the Post-its. Chuck asked, and we visited this on the last episode, where weight versus need. Having rethought it a little bit and in discussions with Pamela and Thomas, do you really need it for sake of argument? Thomas and I had a chat about sort of covering our butts for fire starters. We take, backcountry-wise anyhow, we take a click torch, like a barbecue starter. We take waterproof safety matches, and usually a flint and a knife. Do we need all three of those? Nope. We could probably get away with just the flint and knife. I like the waterproof matches because they're way easier than gathering up little bits of dried out moss and stuff. I can light a little heavier bit of stuff. They're not heavy, and we can take 2 or 3 packs so that if one bag hits the water, we've got 2 other packs in other bags that are dry. So that's one. Maybe I'd leave the click torch behind, the barbecue lighter, but the rest of it's fine. A couple of other thoughts though. Things like, if you're front country camping, take a whole bin of clothes. If it fits in your car, who cares? If you're backcountry camping, a particular piece of clothing would be pants. The ones you get from Costco that have or I'm sure that they carry them at Mountain Equipment and stuff like that, but they zip off. So they can be pants and they can be shorts. And since you're backcountry, stinky's sort of the norm, so it's no big deal that you only have 1 pair or possibly 2 pair with you. And they do multi-purpose, so there's that much less that you're carrying. Also, knives. I guarantee I carry at least 2 for backcountry, many more for front country, like a bin of cooking stuff. But backcountry, you're looking at a fillet knife in the hopes that you're doing some fishing, which we'll get to in a minute. And then sort of the other 2 options are a buck knife, a la, when you're a kid in Scouts, or if you've got a multi-tool that has a knife in it, you can use that to whittle some wood down and get some shavings for starting your fire. Make yourself a pokey thing to hold up the middle of your tarp because you couldn't do a nice ridge line, whatever that is. Swiss Army knife. Again, it's a multi-tool. It's got a screwdriver for when who knows, something gets broken, you can fix it. It also has a knife in it. So do you need all of those? Nope. I will always take a filleting knife because I'm hopeful that I'm going to catch some nice bass, or ideally a nice brook trout, what have you. And usually a multi-tool or a Swiss Army as a backup, just to have the other multiple things to pry open something or fix whatever. There's the revisit on whether weight versus need, whether you actually need it. So I'm going to take a second here and turn this over to Thomas and let him take a run through on front country and then the very different version, backcountry fishing gear.
Just a quick note on the want versus need in terms of the multi-tool. Some multi-tools will have a set of pliers in them, which is very useful, including with fishing when you need to pull something out of a fish. So when I take a multi-tool, I tend to take one with a set of pliers in it.
That, and when we pack for backcountry in particular, we do have a community, like one thing for both of us. It's usually just the 2 of us, but we also do pack individually little bits that, I have to lug mine, he has to lug his. So I might take a Swiss Army, he might take a multi-tool. And then we've got those, the pliers to get the lure out of, yeah, exactly.
Fishing front country versus backcountry. Front country, you take everything. Take things that'll catch you this fish, that fish, your specialty lures, your fancy whatever.
Rubber worms.
Yeah. You take every fishing item that you have that you could possibly ever use.
There's 2, there's 3.
And I'm pretty sure there's a 4th
There's
somewhere.
another one down in the dungeon. Bobbers, a set of pliers.
Take all your gear with you.
Yep.
Backcountry, that's a whole lot of weight to lug around. That's far too much to look around. So we tend to take something a lot smaller. We'll take something like maybe 6 different lures, maybe 3 or 4 bobbers, which are often, rather than like in a container, they're just in bags in like smaller pockets because they're small and they're light and they're bright red often, so you know where they are. We each take a rod, generally, if we're doing backcountry.
A collapsible, usually. I mean, you can take a piece of crap Zebco, thing you buy at Crappy Tire. We have decent rods, Abu Garcia and, a Shakespeare rod, a collapsible though, so that it packs up smaller. How do we rig them in the boat?
We use...
very small bungee cords.
Yes. Very, very small bungee cords.
Use your words.
One around the handle and one around the upper end of it, usually on the crossbars where the seat is attached so that it stays in the canoe. And when we flip it upside down, we can generally just leave them in there, as well as when we're portaging it. They generally stay there because they're up out of the way.
Same thing we do with our paddles.
Yes.
Just it's less stuff to carry, but
it makes it super easy to find them. And when we go out fishing, when we've already set up camp and stuff, we don't actually have to look around for them. We always know where they are. They're always already at the canoe.
Also, the rangers know where they are.
Yes.
So I want to point out, there's a great resource. It's called Fish On capital O, capital N -line. It's an Ontario Ministry web resource. You can figure out how to get your fishing license. You can see what stocking as far as fish goes for what lakes, what other species are natural there. It's a great resource. Thomas and I ran into a bit of an issue last year in Killarney where I had done a boatload of reading and somehow I missed the words fish sanctuary. I knew that because of the acid rain from Sudbury, the lakes were in bad shape because of acid rain. They were still coming back as far as fishery goes. They had been essentially killed. I knew that some of the fishing was off limits in some lakes during certain periods, but I didn't realize there was no fishing at all in some of the lakes. And thankfully was a good ranger, but they came. It's actually the only time we've been backcountry we've actually run into rangers. They came one morning, and there was a bit of a to-do about it. They didn't charge us. We hadn't caught anything. Was unintentional, but use that resource to check whether you can fish there or what things are in season, what aren't. It will also help you if you're backcountry camping, what type of lures, the very small package of lures you're going to take with you. Yeah, I think that covers fishing. If it's okay, I would like to address, it's a philosophy, I guess. It's called leave no trace. I'm sure I've mentioned it before. With the world that we live in these days, with the pandemic, I see a stunning number and a stunning array of posts about people finding crap in the backcountry or finding themselves in situations that shouldn't exist. Speaking specifically for Thomas and I, we went into, I can't think of the name of the lake now, in Killarney last summer. It was a 2-portage, was very long. It was a lot of work to get in there. It was the only site on the lake, and we showed up to that site to find a frying pan, multiple grates, like steel grates left over, propane canisters, food, not like a bag of food, but crap, plastic bags, leftover bits from somebody doing a Jiffy Pop popcorn. It was quite sad. It's a lot of work to get there, and I get that you're taking heavy things in and you don't want to lug them back, so do some research. Realize that you're going way in there and that's a bad thing. It's supposed to look like you were never there. That's part of the deal of being in nature, enjoying that wonderfulness, is that you leave no trace. We pack out, I would say, well, Pamela and I were talking earlier. I was talking, Pamela was listening.
I'm good at that.
Yes, she is. I'm good at talking.
I have lots of practice.
In case you hadn't noticed. Ontario parks, especially for the backcountry stuff, there's a yellow garbage bag that when you sign in or at whatever the access point is, they've got these garbage bags. It's bigger than a grocery bag from Loblaws or whatever. It's a little heavier duty. Thomas and I pack out at least half of one of those, often a full one of those, of stuff that we didn't take into the backcountry. That's crazy. That's insane. And it's worse now. I mean, I saw a post by Kevin Callan where somebody had packed in a case of Coca-Cola. It left the bag of I can't remember, some kind of food, and I think there were fuel cylinders as well. Like, wow. I've seen pictures where, somebody's like, oh, well, that's great. They built a lean-to. Yeah, they cut down trees to build that lean-to. Live trees, not dead brush. You, by all means, collect that up, use it for your fire. Whatever you want to do, build yourself. I don't care. Build yourself a deck out of dead stuff. Don't cut down live trees, man. I understand that people are new to it or are getting in thinking it's, anybody can do this sort of thing. Because by and large, if you choose the right place, yeah, anybody can do it. Be respectful of nature. Be respectful of what you're getting yourself into. Don't operate outside of your abilities. Research. Treat it nice. It's going to treat you well. I don't know. I guess that's kind of it. It makes me sad.
Well, and even front country camping, we often clean up our campsite, and that's collecting bottle caps, collecting those juice straw wrappers are always
everywhere
in the campsite. Yep. Bread tags, we'll always end up having to clean up things like that out of our campsite, which just is wrong. We are all about loving nature and taking care of the environment, and to see things like that is sad, particularly for people that should also be loving nature. That's part of the joy of camping, is that it engenders a love and a respect for our environment. And that's it for us for today. I'm Pamela.
I'm Thomas.
I'm still Tim.
And we're from supergoodcamping.com. We would love it if you would email us. Our email address is hi@supergoodcamping.com. That's hi@supergoodcamping.com. And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
See ya.
Sayonara.